Hey, what's poppin', guys? You got your boy Nonjuro here. Welcome to another video. So for this video, I'm going to be showing you guys Christmas Haven, aka Summit Temple Haven. Now, I've played a surprising amount of Haven in the last like 2 months, 3 months, something like that. And every now and then, like, I usually tend to like revisit it as a ladder deck. Like right now, I think it's like one of the better decks to play on ladder. This might change in like a week or two, but at the moment, it's one of the better decks to play on ladder. So I figured I'd go ahead and talk about a list I'm playing right now. This is a list by my boy Fiction. I'll go ahead and drop the stream link down in the description of the video if you guys like want to like check him out. So let me quickly show you guys the deck real quick. Now most of this is pretty standard. The only exception is I think the third Serenian Hind, the one of Star Torrent, and then the 2 Grimnir. Now the Grimnir thing is on, well, both the Grimnir and Star Torrent things are very, very funny. Like the Serenian Hind is just for like, you know, extra consistency. But the Grimnir thing just because, you know, like same thing Grimnir has always done, like use a ward on 3 if you want it, or you can save him for 10 and use him for a big blowout turns. Like right now, one of the more interesting things in this current metagame is that having some form of like Grimnir effect on 10 is actually very, very strong. And one of the issues, or I guess like one of the benefits, I guess I should say, of playing this in Haven as opposed to playing this in other classes is with all your amulets or whatever. Grimnir by himself is a tempo loss because like you develop a very, very weak turn. Like, and people could abuse you for that. However, if you're playing Haven, you know, you got your Marcher tea time popping, or you got your Gemstone Carapace popping, you know, you're in the money because suddenly you have this threat that's behind a ward, and that's very, very scary because your deck also has Heavenly Knight and things like that. But for the most part, the deck is pretty much, you know, about the same. Now, the game I'm about to show you guys is actually a game that I actually really enjoyed playing a lot. So when I played the deck or whatever, like, as you can see here, I won a ton of games. And that was honestly just because like my opponents were like, I'll be honest with you, my opponents were pretty bad. Like there were some very, very manga-esque stuff that happened in these games. However, this player that I played against, this dragon player, he above all of these other players like played like perfectly well. Like if anything, like I think he played actually better than most dragon players I play versus on a daily basis, and that's saying, well, something. So I figured I would go ahead and show you guys this one particular game, just because like there are a lot of different things that I think that happen in Haven games that I don't really think people like kind of touch on or go into. And one of that is going to be the psychological aspect of some of the things you do in Haven, or at least for me, like one of the things that I kind of like learn from that as I do it. Alright, so I'm going second. For me personally, I really enjoy going second when I'm playing a class that has swing card egos of some sort. So in particular, stuff like say dragon. Well, I say swing, but in the case of dragon, it's not like it's just so this way you can evolve your Atlas a lot sooner, so your Atlas becomes like less dead. But yeah, dragon, Haven, forest. Like right now, like those are like the classes that I enjoy going second in the most. Well, in the case of course I can go either way, but that's not the point. Anyway, so for this, the reason why this works is because like I'm playing, I believe, 2 cudgel, 3, either 2 cudgel, 2 tea time, or like 3 cudgel, 2 tea time, something like that. But the point is to have a lot of evolved effects, and I want to be able to get as many of them off as possible. Like tea time is strong, cudgel is strong. So I'll keep the globe. I'll toss back the other 2. They're a bit too slow for my liking. I do pick up a Snow White. Now, Snow White is actually very, very insane versus Dragon in particular. Well, versus Dragon in particular, but just in general. Like, Snow White is arguably one of the strong... Well, I say arguably, but this is probably undeniable at this point. Snow White is just like one of the strongest two drops in the game, just like straight this period. Now, one of the things she allows you to do is that she scales up, is that she's fine in the early game, she, you know, does what she has to do, probably goes above and beyond versus some classes, but in the late game, she gives you some damage retention that plays around AoE. Dragon is the class that lives and dies off of their AoE. So the longer you keep the main body of Snow White alive, the more terrifying it is for the dragon player, just because like it means that they're taking one to two additional damage each and every turn. So we see here that I've also drawn, well, a very strong curve. I have Gemstone on 2, Gemstone on 3 into Moire on 4, possibly if he plays nothing, or I can do Moire on 3 into Gemstone later. However, I like applying a lot of early game pressure to Dragon before they can get set up. So this way they have to like break their back. They have to like go ahead and like use all their evos. When I find that most times when you're playing versus Dragon, the sooner you strip them of their evos, right? The sooner you strip them of their evos while also at the same time not playing the AoE, the better off you'll be, and the more of a commanding lead that you'll have. Just because I find that a lot of Dragon players, at least online or anyway, I find that a lot of them don't quite know how to play when they don't have evos, and when they're just like, you know, getting pressured. So. But now the other big thing for me is my usage of Moire. Like, and I kind of want you guys to like focus on that as we're going into this game, because Moire is actually probably the biggest card I wanted to talk about, because this is like, I feel like I see a lot of people like use it incorrectly, or like not utilize it as well as you could. Although I've also seen that stuff with Tribunal as well. Anyway, here we'll go ahead and play out the Gemstone. We play at the Gemstone because we know that we want to evolve this culture next turn. We can just banish that possibly, but if you like place me out like say a Scyther, we can banish the Scyther instead, and I'll just be, you know, I'll just be gravy. Alright. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is your amulet placement. So as I mentioned at the start of the stream, I did call this deck, you know, Amulet Christmas Time or whatever, and that's just because of Serenine Hen. Serenine Hen basically, like, his Serenine Darkhin form, that basically works as like, say, a better Skullfane, or I guess you could think of it as maybe a better Garuda. I'm not really sure. No, actually, no. Yeah, better Garuda works. So, what I mean by this is that he can essentially let you pop multiple amulets at the same time. So in this case, if we were to play him up, well, if we were to play up these Moire, then we could like pop him on 5 to blow up 2 creatures. We get this pop out and all this other stuff, and it was, you know, that's just like amazing, right? However, one of the things that I see people do incorrectly is one, the turns in which you're going to play Moire. Honestly, in my personal opinion, and also there are obviously like other people who have been playing this deck that like also like agree with me. You want to try to space your Moire. That is to say, you want to try to like, aim to play your Moire going into your opponent's Evo turns, or in other cases, or like in other cases where obviously like your opponents are out of Evos, you want to try to save them so this way you can play them on a Darkhin board and pop them immediately, like post Evo War. Now in this case, what we'll see me do is we'll go ahead and see me play a Moire here. So one tricky thing about Dragon is that you don't actually know when they're going to commit creatures onto the board and when they're not going to commit creatures onto the board, because like they're one of the few classes that can kind of, you know, play around that. But when you're versus more board-based classes like say Sword or possibly sometimes Forest, you can usually get away. with what I'm doing here. However, I'm not able to do that. And the amulet and the card that I pick up next is Snow White. Now, one of the things about Snow White is that, like, while she's very good at damage retention, she doesn't actually apply the damage that fast. Additionally, she's only really super threatening like once you have like Summit Temple up. I don't have a Summit Temple up. And lastly, because she's a 1/2, your opponent isn't really pressured to evolve into her, like unless they're trying to deny you early from Gemstone procs. However, I already have a Gemstone here. It's already on 1 cooldown, so it's already gonna pop next turn no matter what. So he's probably going to ignore all of this, and I'm gonna feel very, very sad because I won't get to have my Amulet Christmas Time on curve. And that's one of the things you have to be wary of when you're playing as Haven, and then just make sure that you don't like board block yourself in a very, very unfortunate situation, because just in general you don't want to board block in this game. However, in particular for Haven, you really don't want to board block, just because like how you win as Haven is making the best use of these 5 board spaces, just because like you need them for your amulets, you also need them for your creatures. But thankfully for me, my opponent triggers this. He gives me a board space, right? He gives me a board space to go ahead and remove my Gemstone Carapace with his Avowed Strike, as well as gain an additional mana point. However, this now gives me some options. I have some things I can do. What I'll go ahead and do here is after some thought, I'll go ahead and make this trade here, right? I make this trade here, so this way I can go ahead and play a guaranteed Serenity and Hind onto this board. Now, what you might have noticed is I went out of my way to preserve the body of the Snow White. Again, you might be wondering, why did you preserve the body of the Snow White, Nandro? The reason why I preserved the body is because, like, as long as this initial body stays alive, every single AoE he plays suddenly has like less value. Dragon players in general, a lot of people like they try to like save their AoE for the optimal moment where it will clear every single unit at once. So as long as the Snow White is alive, I'm kind of like mentally conditioning him, or I guess like mentally preying on the fact that he mentally will go ahead and try to get the max value possible. Additionally, there's also the slight issue of, well, Serenity and Hind is a card, right? Serenity and Hind is a 3/5 that has Bane. Bane means, well, any unit that trades into this is going to die. Like, it's going to die straight up. Like, the best case scenario for him is to have Scyther here. However, if you look at his mana cost, well, he's on 7 mana, which means if we play Scyther, we subtract the 3 mana for the Scyther. That means he has 4 mana left. Dragon, when they have 4 mana left, they cannot do many things. Like, it's just like not a thing for them. So we'll see the Scyther here. Again, this is the best case scenario from the clear because Serenity and Hind is just a little bit too strong for AoE. However, here my opponent surprises me with the young Elder Tortoise tech. Now, Elder Tortoise is a card that's for numerous sets is very, very good. But now he's finally starting to see play, and that's very, very good. Now here, I want you to take a look at another thing. So because I had Snow White, right? Because I had Snow White, I have all these extra advantages over my opponent because I haven't had to use any actual real Evos. I've only used an Evo from a Snow White, and I've just used my Dark Hind to go ahead and control his board thus far. Why is this relevant? Well, the reason why this is relevant is because, like, again, all of these Evo effects I have are live. So like this Cudgel is always live. The T times in my deck, always live. I just need to find them, that's all. So now, here, we'll go ahead and we'll take another interesting turn. Well, I say it's interesting, but it's like interesting for me mostly. So I'll go ahead and actually play out my I'll play out my my Aether the White Wing that goes ahead and grabs me my Serenity and Hind. So the reason why this is relevant is because Serenity and Hind, when you pull it from Aether, it's a very, very big boy. Like it's a 3/6 unevolved. 6 HP is as always, it's on the cusp of that. Is really difficult to clear standalone without having to use a destroy effect or just a creature that's somehow that big. But spoiler alert, there really aren't that many creatures that are that big in rotation at least. So I'll go ahead and play it out here, and I'll go ahead and evolve it and then trade. Now again, the big thing here is that we push slight damages with this Snow White. The other big thing is that this Aether proc has suddenly made this go from dealing 2 damage when I have Summit Temple up to dealing 3. That's a very, very big number. The reason why that's a big number is because, like, now, at the moment, if I play the Summit Temple, like possibly say next turn, I can go ahead and just, you know, do a lot of damage to him. Because thankfully, I'm conditioning him to want to go for 1 or 2 specific plays and no other plays. So here we see him make an Elder Tortoise play. This play is, well, it would be good, except, you know, that's a very, very low creature. I have an Evolve, I have Scriptures in my deck, I have everything I need. Like, and so we see him, like, being, again, conditioned to do a very, very suboptimal play, and we're just, you know, slowly getting there. Like, we're slowly getting to the point of the game where we need to be able to just, you know, press random buttons and win. Like, right now, you could say, like, even though there's only a 2 HP difference between us, if you look at all the other things, like, say, number of cards in hand versus, like, number of things on the board, you could tell that I'm very, very clearly winning. I'm very, very clearly in the driver's seat for this game. And that's true. So now what we'll see me do is we'll go ahead and see me play a Moray here. Now, to be honest with you, playing up this Moray was actually a mistake. So it didn't really. Obviously, it obviously doesn't seem like a mistake at first. However, it is a mistake once you remember that I have a Dark Hind. That I have a Serenity and Hind in my hand, and then I also have a Gemstone Carapace in play. So the reason why this becomes a mistake is because of the fact that, like, if he plays an AoE here, I want to have a creature going to my next turn. Like, every single turn as Haven, you want to have a creature in play. Like, generally, you want the creature to be, like, fairly big, But if you can get away with like a small creature, that's still usually generally fine. Just because like once you have the Summit Temple in hand, every single creature you play becomes a nuisance for your opponent, because every single creature suddenly does a lot more damage than you expect it to. So for example, this Snow White, as I mentioned before, is going to be dealing 3 damage when I have Summit Temple out. Like the Jeweled Priestess in my hand, she's going to be doing 2 damage when I have Summit Temple out, possibly 4. And of course, this Aether of the White Wing will be doing 3 damage as well, or possibly 5 damage if I evolve her. That's, again, these are all very terrifying numbers when you have the fact of, oh, well, there are 3 Heavenly Knights lurking somewhere in this deck that are threatening to just, maul your face off for 7 damage, because, Heavenly Smoke Knight is really good. So, anyway, so what we'll see me do here is we'll go ahead and see me play Summit Temple, to then play Cudgel. Now, as I said before, the reason why this is a misplay is because if I had the Gemstone Carapace out, I would have gone ahead and gotten a free trigger immediately, and that would have been great for me. However, you don't see me do it, and instead I'll just go ahead and hit him in the face for 6. Now, the reason why this hit in the face for 6 is important is because, like, right now, if one of these hits him one more time, he's always dead to Heavenly Knight. And right now, he's in checkmate sort of. Well, sorry, he's in check possible mate sort of scenario. In that, even if he had an AOE that cleared this board, right, he has to give me his last evolve, or somehow remove the Snow White I haven't played. The reason why he has to remove the Snow White I haven't played is because of the fact, well, if he doesn't do it, the Snow White remains a 2/2 when it comes back. I go ahead and play Heavenly Knight. Heavenly Knight does 7 because we have the Summit Temple out, and then of course I evolve the Heavenly Knight to do 9 more, so that would just be 11 damage. He's at 10. It's like right now he's just in checkmate. He has to have Frenzy Drake. Yep. So he plays with the Frenzy Drake. Good player. He realizes, of course, that I'm threatening to kill him if he doesn't remove this, and he thankfully gives me the evolve. You'd be surprised, but I've seen a lot of games where people just like did not do the math and did not realize that they were dead to Heavenly Knight. However, here we're gonna see me get bit a little bit for the fact of the see me get bit a little bit for the fact of taking the line that I had taken. Now, if I had taken the line before, the one where I mentioned that I sorry, the one where I mentioned that I would be able to just kill him from the one where I would just be able to have a creature going into this turn, that line would have obviously been a lot better. However, now we have to take a different line. So thankfully, one of the things about Haven is that like you draw so many cards so quickly, just because Mourier draws you a card each time you play it. Globe draws you 2 cards, once on activation, then once again when it dies. Jeweled Priestess can possibly draw you cards as well. Then of course you just have your natural card draw going into each turn. So that's a lot of extra cycle they have for your deck and whatnot. So let you like formulate a lot of combo turns, as long as you of course find the correct pieces for the job. Now here we see the Star Torrent come out. So what I get to do here is I get to go ahead and play my Jeweled Priestess, to then play my Black Diamond, to then play my Gemstone Carapace, and then to play my Star Torrent. Now, the reason why this is important is because I've now set up yet another checkmate turn, but this one is like a hidden check, or it's like a hidden, or it's like a sorry, using chess terms, this one's like a hidden check just because like a lot of people, I don't know why, but a lot of people just forget what amulets do and whatnot. So the reason why I did this is because now this has one trigger. When it pops, it'll do 2. That puts him to 8. I evolve. Boom. Bob's your uncle. He's dead. And this works because no matter if he removes this or doesn't remove this, he will still die, and that's very important for me right now. Additionally, the other thing is that it just like let me save a little bit of face there. However, here he makes a smart play. He slams Zeus. You'd be surprised, a lot of people would just try to heal up or something like that, and that's not the correct play. Like, the correct play is just always slam the Zeus. Like, you just slam the Zeus, and you go ahead and just, like, go face. You just go face and pray. Because he's already seen me use, I believe, 2 Mouriers now, so he should know that, well, unless he has third Mori here, I'm probably still, you know, I'm probably still alive. Like, I'm probably gonna be able to soak up whatever's coming out. Like, the only way he would be in trouble is if I had Aegis, and that's another thing about Haven, is that, oh, well, you are on the timer, because, like, some of these lists do still play Aegis. Now, granted, thankfully, a lot of people have come to, you know, the realization that, or have either come to the realization or just, like, I guess, like, understood that Aegis in and of himself is kind of terrible. Unless, of course, you skew your game plan very, very early to the, oh, I know that I want to play Aegis on 9 and then evolve it sort of game plan, but thankfully not many people go for that. So he knows that the only way he gets punished is if I play Aegis here. And even then, he might still be able to get me. However, I go ahead and this pops. I go ahead and get my heal. I go ahead and get my unit. So right now what we'll see me do is we'll see me go ahead and trade in here. I trade in here solely to make board space just because of my top deck. If I hadn't gotten that top deck, I would have done something different. But because I got the top deck, I'll go ahead and get to play Mori here. Draw a second, I know, but it's okay because I already know the exact line that I want to go for. So here we'll just see me commit. We'll see me commit to everything. I'll go ahead and play it Darkened here. You play Darkened, so this way both your amulets pop. Boom, boom, his Zeus is dead. Boom, you have Bane unit in play. Boom, you're threatening to deal 15 damage here. So again, this is another check sort of situation. And again, this one is a little bit stronger than the last one because, like, now Zeus doesn't cut it. Like, he has to have exactly Frenzied Drake here to clear this board. He has a Frenzied Drake, I still kill him. He has Conflag, I still kill him. Like, it doesn't matter what he does from this spot, like, he cannot win. Like, it's just impossible. So of course, he's going to try his best, so we'll go ahead and clear off the site there. And then play Ozzy the Haka. This, by the way, is why Ozzy the Haka is really good when you can play, just because if you get these cost reductions, it becomes very, very strong. Because, like, as you see here, like with all the Elder Forces he played, like he's able to play this out as a 6 cost. That's actually very impressive. However, unfortunately for him, it's not good enough because even though he was able to play that one unit, he was still dead if I had, you know, either the White Winged Double go ahead and buff this up to 6 HP, then evolved, boom, that does 8, Knight, boom, you know, he's dead. So we'll just go ahead and slam Knight here. We slam the Knight possibly just because, you know, it's animated, and I also it was going to be the one that took the one that took the least amount of time to resolve, which I usually try to go for when I know I have lethal, and we're able to take the game. Now, as I said before, like, this game was one of the more like difficult. Well, I say difficult, but like one of the more interesting games that I've like played in a while this week. And it's probably just gonna be, you know, my game of the week. Now, hopefully you guys noticed like some of the psychological aspects in that game. Just, you know, like some of the I guess like conditioning and just like mind games that he was like forced to go through, such as like, oh well, what can I commit into a possible Mori pop that I don't mind, you know, having him kill for free, or, you know, things like that. And that's just, you know, one of the things you should like want to focus on when you're playing Haven. It's just like how best to make your turn as annoying as possible for your opponent without needing to just, you know, slam them in the face. Now, obviously, yes, you do 100% have games where you just, like, you know, slam 3 Knights or slam 2 Knights or whatever, and, you know, your opponent's just dead. But there is more to it. Like, it's part of why Haven is one of the best classes at the moment, just because, like, they have all these different ways to attack you, and it's just, you know, kind of like a puzzle from like turn 1. It's very, very nice. But yeah. If you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let me know if you guys want me to do, like, I guess, like, more like games of the week and things like that. I actually don't mind doing these. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.